The Star Wars franchise seems to be very expansive, with not only 2 new Star Wars trilogies and the Clone Wars Season 7 currently in the works, but we also have 2 new live-action TV series. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, if we look at one of the new live-action TV series, which, by the way, is filming right now by, of course, writer Jon Favreau. He actually wrote the entire thing, and this brings us to Star Wars The Mandalorian. Now, just today, we got a big Christmas surprise by Jon Favreau on social media when it comes to Instagram and all those different types of social networks that Jon Favreau is on. He actually was able to give us a first behind-the-scenes look at The Mandalorian, and it gives us a surprise character. Now, this surprise character that will be a part of The Mandalorian is a very familiar character to a lot of hardcore fans out there, and that is, of course, IG-88, and here is the image. This is our first behind-the-scenes look of The Mandalorian when it comes to one of the new characters entering into the Star Wars franchise under the Disney canon. Now, mind you, this is amazing to see IG-88 for the first time on screen in an actual Star Wars film in detail like this. You know, we never really got it in detail like this in the history of Star Wars movies. Now, if you guys are a big fan of the Star Wars video games out there, I'm sure that a lot of you have played Shadows of the Empire. One of the bosses in that game was actually IG-88, so I actually grew up with that game, and that's why it's so exciting to see this character being a part of The Mandalorian. Now, that's one thing here, is that we can really see a lot of the elements from the Boba Fett film, in which Kathleen Kennedy confirmed a couple of months ago that that is officially canceled and not going back on the table, at least for a very long time. The original concept for the Boba Fett film was that it wouldn't just be about Boba Fett, it would be about Bossk, Dengar, it would also be about IG-88, all those bounty hunters. And we can see how a lot of the elements of the Boba Fett film carried on over into The Mandalorian. And this raises yet another question, right? If IG-88 is indeed going to be a major part of this story, could it also give us a signal here that Boba Fett is going to play a major role toward the end of this limited series? And that's another thing that I do want to bring up in case you guys did not know. A lot of these live-action TV series that are in the works right now, such as The Mandalorian, Cassian Andor, they're going to all be limited series, which honestly I like. You know, there's not a lot of dedication, there's not a lot of commitment to it. You don't have to watch, you know, seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be a nice limited series, I think in or around 7 to 10 episodes per series, and it's going to actually tell us a very nice story in a movie format, except it's going to be a lot longer. And that's what I love about this, is that Jon Favreau, not only is he a great writer, but he's also, you know, an excellent storyteller. He's a big fan of Star Wars, he knows what he's doing, and mind you, this is the first actual project that is going to be based after the events of Return of the Jedi. So this is actually 3 years after Return of the Jedi, and 7 years after the events of A New Hope, after the Battle of Yavin. So we can see how everything is coming into play here. They're really trying to build up everything in between the originals and the sequels through, of course, live-action TV series so far. And as far as the Cassian series goes, that's going to be a prequel to Rogue One. So that's going to be closer to Revenge of the Sith, which is yet another great thing to know. And that's one thing that I do like about these live-action TV series, is that, like I say, they're going to be limited. They're not going to have like seasons upon seasons of these things for The Mandalorian, for Cassian, which honestly opens up more possibilities of what we will be getting on Disney's streaming service called Disney+. Now, The Mandalorian is set to drop, I believe, Q4 of 2019, or at the very latest, Q1 of 2020. It's really a big decision right now by Disney and Lucasfilm on whether or not they want to drop this thing before the release of Episode 9 or after the release of Episode 9. Would it hurt the release of the final installment of the Skywalker saga if The Mandalorian came to Disney's streaming service? I'm not quite sure about that, But let me know what you guys think about IG-88, one of the most iconic characters to a lot of hardcore and casual fans alike around the world, will actually play a part in this film. Again, like I say, we don't know how significant this character is going to be to the story, but I would imagine that this is going to be at least a villain in Star Wars The Mandalorian to this mysterious warrior, which is actually being portrayed by Pedro Pascal. And he's a very talented actor. Let me tell you, if you guys have seen him in Game of Thrones and what he's done with that, this guy has potential for a Star Wars project. It seems like he fits Star Wars, especially for a role like this. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.